Hi, I'm Rachel Wilson, and I'm a clinical social worker and yoga therapist. And welcome to my channel. I'm starting this channel because I really believe in the power of somatics and our being able to really embody ourselves in both personal and collective transformation. So often we kind of separate the idea of social change with personal change, but I think they're inherently connected. So when we think about individuals, especially in Western culture, it's kind of like we're separate, we're not connected to everything around us. Even within our body, we're separated into different parts. You go see the foot doctor, you go see the brain doctor, but we're not taken as a whole. And I think that's true as society as well. But really, if we go down to how we are organized as an individual, we are tiny little cells that turn into organs, that turn into our cardiovascular system, our digestive system. They kind of go out into our larger human being. But then we continue with that. So then we make up relationships, we make families, we are part of communities, we're part of larger society. So within our individual cells, there's something that might happen with one organ or one cell that could impact the entire system of our body. So that's true also within kind of like smaller groups within a family, even within a relationship. If one person starts to change, that's going to change the dynamic of the relationship. That's going to change the experience that both people are having in the relationship, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. And same with a family. So I've been trained as a family therapist, and we think about the family as a system. So often there's kind of like an identified patient, we call it, where some person is maybe acting out a little more, having some more obvious signs of distress. But when we're addressing the family, we're looking at what the system is doing to kind of create that distress. And I think we need to do that at a larger scale as well. That there's social problems we're having, they're not individual problems. Yes, individuals are impacted by it. Individuals can have control over how the system impacts them, but they are a result of structural issues. But sometimes I think we just stop there and we forget that we actually also have control within the system of our self, our being, how we interact with people, how we move through the world, how when we can be in control of ourselves, our body, our experience, we have more energy and power to put towards creating collective change, to building relationships with people that are going to be effective in shifting these larger patterns. So we often think of systems as something out there that are just kind of doing their thing, but we are actually part of the systems. We have learned to kind of almost be like a vessel for the ideas, the cultural beliefs, the ways of interacting in the world. And we are often doing it unconsciously, and there's sometimes fear or shame that comes up if we try to step outside of those norms, where we might be kind of perpetuating the system we don't even believe in, we see it's harmful. And that is where somatics, more embodiment, mindfulness practice comes in. That one, it allows us to build awareness of our internal experience, our internal landscape, to see how these systems can even impact us on these very tiny levels. Maybe how we hold our body, how we feel in particular situations, when we're in a nervous system fight or flight response. All of these are ways that we can gather information to really understand how what's happening out there can impact us internally. And with that information, then there's multiple things we can do. I think always starting with learning the tools we need in order to navigate challenging emotions, navigating challenging dynamics, building our sense of resilience within ourselves, building our sense that we can handle whatever happens and whatever emotions come up. So that is like one piece to really build in terms of creating our own personal change. But when we have that, we're much more likely and able to go out and put the work into doing social change work. Any social change requires relationships and building community and building collective power. And if we are shut down, if we are burnt out, if we are really self-conscious, there's a lot of shame present, it makes it really hard to get into action, to do the things we need to do in order to create change. So there's so much we can do within ourselves, but that's not where it ends. So when I think about somatics, I don't think about just me, this individual body. I think about me as this body that's connected to all bodies, that's connected to all life. And how do we regulate ourselves in order to be a regulating force in the world, and one that helps to create shifts and change? Maybe it's in small everyday actions. Maybe it's in how we relate to ourselves or relate to others. Maybe it's in going to a protest, doing political organizing. Whatever it might be, all of those things, the more of us that are doing it, the more it adds up and the greater cumulative effect it has. It can be like a web that kind of spreads out of connection, of care. And I think we all can start doing that just as a simple way, starting by connecting to ourselves and our body in a system that tells us that there's no value in that. Because I think that's where our power is.